You ever have a memory so sharp, it stabs you years later? I was 15. It was late September, the kind where Texas still pretends it's summer. But the wind smells like school and dying grass. I remember coming home from school, still wearing my JV basketball jersey. And the first thing I saw was 2 cop cars parked out front. And my heart dropped, like sick to your stomach, palms sweaty, ears ringing kind of drop. Inside, my stepmom, Kendra, fake crying on the couch, like TV soap opera fake. 2 cops with notepads, my dad pacing in the kitchen like he was going to rip through the walls, and my half-sister Savannah gone. I walked in, and everything stopped. "Ethan," one of the cops said, "we need to talk." Let me back up for a second. This mess didn't start that day. It started way earlier. My real mom died when I was 4. Cancer. The slow, awful kind that leaves pictures behind but takes all the warmth with it. When I turned 7, Dad met Kendra, this blonde, always smiling Sunday school teacher with a voice like sweet tea and arsenic. She brought casseroles to neighbors. Always had fresh cookies out when the pastor dropped by. Looked like some Southern Living cover girl. At first, I thought she was nice. I was 7, I didn't know what manipulation looked like yet. But everything changed after Savannah was born. Dad, Roger Cole, he was tough. Ex-cop turned private security contractor. Always my house, my rules. The kind of man who thinks therapy is a scam and kids should man up. He was strict with me, like absurdly strict. Got a B+ in science, why not an A? Made the basketball team. Why aren't you captain? I tried so hard. But Kendra, she played the long game. Little stuff at first. Ethan forgot to unload the dishwasher again. Ethan broke the toaster. Ethan was mean to Savannah. All these little lies that added up over the years. Meanwhile, Savannah Golden Child could set the house on fire, and Dad would blame me for leaving matches out. And yeah, I probably had ADHD. Couldn't sit still. Zoned out in class. But no one ever thought to check. Dad just called me lazy. Why can't you be normal like your sister? Spoiler, she wasn't even as... Anyway, fast forward. I'm 15. Savannah's 8. Kendra's been whispering poison into Dad's ears for years, but I never expected what came next. I was walking through Southridge Park after school, shortcut home. That's when I saw them. Kendra. And this guy, Pastor Caleb, big dude, always wore crisp shirts and smelled like cologne and control. And they were kissing. Not just a little peck, either. Full on, up against the gazebo kind of kiss. My jaw hit the dirt. I ran. I didn't even stop to breathe until I got to my street. And I should have told Dad. I should have. But come on, like he'd believe me. Kendra had him wrapped around her French-tipped finger, and I was already the troubled one. So I stayed quiet. A few days later, I heard something I wasn't supposed to. Woke up thirsty. Was going to grab a glass of water. I heard Kendra on the phone, whispering. "You don't get it, Caleb," she hissed. "Roger thinks she's his, but we both know the truth." My blood went cold. She meant Savannah. And I just knew that Caleb wasn't just the guy from the gazebo. He was her dad. I must have made a noise because she suddenly called out, all syrupy sweet, "Ethan, honey, you shouldn't be up this late." I bolted back to my room. That's when it started. She began watching me, hard. Every time I so much as walked past Savannah's room, she was there, told Dad I was acting weird, said I was too interested in Savannah. One time, I was literally helping Savannah with math homework, multiplication tables. Kendra came in, yanked her away, and told Dad I was getting too close. I didn't even understand what she meant until later. Then came the cops. So yeah, I walk in the door, 2 police officers, Kendra crying, Dad's fists clenched, and me. No idea what the hell is going on. They sit me down and start asking disgusting, Insane questions, dull stuff like, "Did you touch your sister inappropriately?" I just kept saying no. Over and over. I felt like I was in a bad dream I couldn't wake up from. My ears were ringing. I couldn't breathe. And then, like it wasn't already a nightmare, Kendra drops the bomb. "I saw the signs," she says. I should have protected her. Dad doesn't even look at me, just clenches his jaw harder. I tried to tell them. I said, "She's lying. I saw her kissing Pastor Caleb." Big mistake. Dad lost it. Started yelling, called me a sick freak, said I was trying to ruin his family, called me jealous of Savannah. I tried to defend myself, but it didn't matter. No one cared. 10 minutes later, I was outside, holding a garbage bag full of clothes and a busted backpack. Dad threw my house key in the gutter. "You ever come near Savannah again," he growled, "and I'll end you myself." Kendra just stood there, that little smirk on her face like she won a damn prize. Savannah peeked out from behind her, confused, scared, holding her stuffed bunny. She didn't understand what was happening. And that was the worst part. Because I did. That night, I had $41 in my wallet. No friends left. Kendra had already poisoned their parents. Everyone thought I was a predator. I slept behind a laundromat. And that was the start of the ugliest chapter of my life. Last night was cold. Not just weather, cold bone deep. Hopeless cold. The kind where your hoodie isn't enough, and every breath feels like betrayal. I curled up behind a dumpster next to a 24-hour diner, holding my busted backpack like a lifeline. I hadn't eaten in a day and a half. My stomach was on fire. But worse than that, my chest hurt. You know what it feels like when your whole world decides you're garbage, like actual disposable trash? Yeah, that was me at 15. First couple nights, I slept behind that laundromat. Then I found this old warehouse near the train tracks where some other homeless guys were staying. Mostly older dudes. Couple of drifters. Nothing scary, just people who got dealt a crap hand in life. That's where I met Tom. Gray beard, raspy voice. Wore 3 layers no matter the weather. Lost his wife to cancer. Then his house, then his job. Said life just kept kicking. And eventually, he stopped trying to stand back up. But he took one look at me skinny kid with a duffel bag and busted shoes and made room on his pile of cardboard. Didn't ask questions, just handed me half a peanut butter sandwich. "You'll last longer if you stop waiting for someone to come find you," he said. Didn't get it then, but damn, was he right. I stopped going to school. What was the point? Kendra made sure I was branded. I couldn't show my face anywhere without getting side-eyed or worse. Even McDonald's turned me down for a dishwashing gig after the manager saw my last name. At some point, I stopped hoping Dad would come get me. He didn't. He just forgot I existed. So I learned how to survive. Tom taught me where to get warm food on Sundays, how to sneak into hotel lobbies for bathroom breaks, which gas stations didn't chase you off if you stood by the door too long. He showed me how to hide when cops did sweeps. The city didn't want to see people like us. Sometimes I did things I'm not proud of. Petty theft, dumpster diving. One time I had to sleep under a bus bench in the rain, hugging a trash bag to stay dry. But the worst part, it wasn't hunger. It wasn't the cold. It was being invisible. No one looks at homeless teenagers. We don't exist in polite conversation. People would literally cross the street to avoid me, like poverty might be contagious. And yeah, every time I saw a dad with his kid, it burned. One night, a bunch of cops raided the warehouse. Someone had complained. We had 10 minutes to leave or get arrested. I lost half my stuff that night, what little I had. My Game Boy, a book I stole from a bus stop, even the scarf Tom gave me. That night, we walked all night, made it to a truck stop diner in the next town over by sunrise. Tom sat me down, handed me the last $40 he had. Look, kid, I got a cousin in Austin. Says he manages some restaurants. Might be able to help. He owes me a favor, he said, pushing a scrap of paper into my hand. Why are you giving this to me? I asked. You could go. He laughed, real low, because I'm done. But you've still got fire. Use it before it goes out. I never saw Tom again. Still think about him. I took a Greyhound to Austin. Couldn't afford a motel, so I slept in the bus station for 5 nights. No shower, no change of clothes. But I found Dave Tom's cousin on day 6. And by some freaking miracle, he didn't slam the door in my face. Tom sent you? He asked, eyeing me up and down. Shit. All right, you wash dishes. Yeah, I lied. That's how I got my first real job, under the table, $8 an hour. Washing crusty pasta trays in the back of some Italian joint that smelled like garlic and burnt dreams. Dave let me crash in the storage closet, gave me a blanket, didn't ask questions. I worked every damn shift I could, burned through more scouring pads than I could count. Some nights I slept in wet socks because my shoes leaked and we didn't have a dryer. But I was safe. Eventually, I moved up, dish pit to prep cook, then line cook, then server. That's when I met Amy. She used to come in with her mom, always sat in my section, always asked questions like, who makes the carbonara, or do you like working here? And I thought she was just being nice. Pretty girls don't talk to guys like me, but Amy didn't act like most people. One night, she brought in her business textbook and started ranting about some accounting formula that made no sense. They're showing profit while losing cash flow. It's all BS, she grumbled. I glanced over and said, they're probably leveraging debt ratios to offset investor loss perception. She blinked. How do you know that? I shrugged. I read, libraries are free. That's how it started. She'd come in. We'd talk about business, food costs, the psychology of tipping. She made me feel like I wasn't a freak. And she never once asked about my past. We talked for months before I ever told her the real deal. I thought she'd run. Most people would. But when I told her about the accusations, the streets, Kendra, Savannah, she didn't flinch. She cried, got angry, said those people deserve to rot. And then she kissed me, in the damn walk-in freezer, right next to the mozzarella. We didn't make it official right away. I was scared. Scared I'd ruin it, that the past would claw its way back. But Amy, she pushed me forward, said, you got your GED, you bust your ass every day, you're not who they said you were. And when her dad, who happened to run a real estate firm, needed help with a project, she made me apply. I had to borrow a suit from Dave. It fit like hell. But I walked into that office and made my case. I knew zoning laws, knew how to flip properties with low equity, knew more about ROI than half the guys on payroll. Amy's dad didn't say much, just nodded and said, start Monday. That job saved my life. No exaggeration. I went from being a dishwasher to managing a $3.5 million development portfolio in 3 years. And I didn't stop there. I learned everything. Bought my first property at 26. Flipped 2 duplexes by 28. Became partner at 30. Now I own 4 homes. One of them is a 5-bedroom colonial just outside Austin. Quiet neighborhood, great schools, and a safe nursery for the baby Amy and I are expecting in July. I built all of it with my own damn hands. And for 16 years, not a single word from Dad. Not a call, not a message, not even a you still alive. Until last week. It was a Monday morning. I was scrolling through Facebook during coffee when I saw it. Friend request Roger Cole. Profile picture. Him. Older, grayer. standing next to Savannah, who looked like a Pinterest ad, with her caramel hair and that southern bride smile. I just stared. Amy walked in and saw my face. "Babe, what's wrong?" I turned the phone toward her. "He found me." "Don't answer," she said. But I did, because I'm an idiot. I clicked accept. 1 hour later, I got the message. "Ethan, it's been too long. I've made mistakes. Jenny's getting married soon. We'd love for you to come. Please give us a chance to talk. Love, Dad." I laughed, not because it was funny, because it was so damn absurd. 16 years of silence. And now he wants to talk. And just like that, the fire Tom told me not to waste. It came roaring back. ChatGPT said I didn't respond right away. For 3 days, I left Dad's message on read. Amy kept saying, "You don't owe them a damn thing." And she was right. But something inside me itched. Not curiosity, more like unfinished business crawling out of its grave. And maybe, deep down, I wanted to look him in the face and ask, why? Why'd you believe her? Why didn't you come find me? Why did a 15-year-old sleeping in alleyways matter less than your wife's crocodile tears? So, yeah, after 3 days, I replied, "Why now?" He messaged back almost instantly, like he was just sitting there, waiting for me. "I'm 60 now, had some health scares, made me think about how short life is. Jenny's getting married. She misses you. We all do." Jenny. That was the name I gave her when I was a kid, before I knew Savannah wasn't really my sister. We exchanged a few messages over the next week. Surface level, awkward, polite. He said Kendra was still around, claimed that they were trying to do better, told me Jenny's sorry. Savannah had graduated college, worked in marketing, and was engaged to a guy named Blake who wore loafers and probably said synergy unironically. They wanted to visit. Amy raised an eyebrow. "You sure about this?" "I'm not inviting them into my heart. I said, just into my house." "Same difference," as she muttered. But I did it anyway. They came over that Saturday. Dad looked old, not just gray hair, old, deflated old, the kind of old that regret brings. Kendra looked exactly the same, like a Southern church pamphlet with a new layer of concealer. Savannah looked good, glowing. Her eyes lit up when she saw our photos on the wall. "Oh my God," she said, pointing at Jake. "This is your son. I'm an aunt." Her voice cracked. She actually started crying. I didn't know how to react. The last time I saw her, she was hiding behind Kendra like I was a monster. And now she's in my house, touching my son's face in a frame like I'm her long-lost brother. Kendra hovered. "I swear, that woman hasn't aged, just got more polished. Botox and bullshit." Amy stayed quiet, watched from the hallway. I could feel her itching to say something, but she didn't. Then Dad clapped a hand on my shoulder and said, "You've done well for yourself." I stepped back like he burned me. Amy's dad gave me a chance. I said, Kendra jumped in right on cue. "We all made mistakes. Ethan, we're here now. That's what matters." Amy dipped out to check on Jake before she committed homicide. Savannah wandered into the living room, touching furniture like she was already redecorating. "This house is amazing," she said. 5 bedrooms and only 1 kid. I forced a smile, planning for more. She gave me this weird, hopeful look, like she thought she was going to live here. Then Dad pulled me aside. We went into my office. He sat down like it belonged to him. "You got a moment?" he asked. I stayed standing. "Your sister's getting married, starting a life, but housing prices are crazy these days. There it was. They've been looking, he continued, but everything's so expensive, and you've got all this space. I stared. No way. He kept going, like he was doing me a favor. You're doing well. Could easily buy another place. You wouldn't even feel it financially. I blinked. You want me to give Savannah my house, I said. Not give, he said quickly. Sell, at a family discount. Maybe help them get on their feet. I laughed. Couldn't help it. You're kidding. It's your sister. No, I snapped. It's your daughter, and not even by blood. Silence. Dad looked up, confused. What? And I saw the moment hit him like a fuse getting lit. You never noticed, did you? I asked. Her hair, her face, the timing. Kendra walked in right then. Everything okay? Oh, fantastic. I said, Dad was just asking if I'd hand over my house to your daughter, the one who isn't even his. It went dead quiet. Savannah walked in a second later, confused. What's going on? Kendra's face went white. That's a lie. Dad stood up slowly. What did you just say? She's not yours, I said. You were just the fool who raised her. Kendra spun around. Ethan's trying to ruin this family again. No, I said. I'm just tired of pretending I don't remember what I saw in the park, you and Caleb, tongue deep by the gazebo. Kendra turned to Dad. He's lying. Dad looked between us, then at Savannah. And for the first time in his life, I saw him question something Kendra said. Savannah started crying. What the hell are you talking about? Your mom cheated, I said gently. With Pastor Caleb, you look exactly like him. Stop, Kendra hissed. She's not your daughter, Dad, and you know it. I didn't stick around for the fallout. Walked outside, sat on the back steps, watched Jake push a toy truck across the patio while Amy watered the lemon tree. I heard yelling inside, not the usual arguing deep, guttural stuff, Kendra swearing, Savannah sobbing, Dad silent. Amy came over and sat beside me, didn't ask questions. When they left an hour later, Kendra wouldn't look at me. Savannah didn't speak. Dad just stared like someone had hollowed him out. 3 days later, I got a message from him. I need to know the truth. So I told him. Everything. From the kiss in the park to the phone call I overheard. I told him how Kendra framed me, how she twisted my help into something sick. He didn't respond for a full day. Then he messaged again. I'm getting a DNA test. A week later, he showed up at my office. Didn't say hello, just sat down across from me, holding a manila envelope. His hands shook. 0% match. He said, I'm not her father. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel vindicated. Just empty. Dad cried. Actual wet face, shoulders shaking cried. Said he wasted his life loving someone who never loved him back. Said he threw away the only person who ever told him the truth. Me. Amy called me the next day while I was in a meeting. You need to get home. Now. I pulled up to find Dad's truck in the driveway. Cops too. Turns out he lost it. Went home. Kendra tried to gaslight him again. Said the lab got it wrong. He snapped. Hit her. Bad. 3 fractured vertebrae. Cops came. Savannah called 911. He's facing 3 to 5 years. Kendra's in rehab now. Turns out she was already on pain meds. Has been for years. Savannah's staying with her aunt. Wedding's off. Blake bailed, said he didn't sign up for generational drama. And Savannah, she's been texting me long, late-night paragraphs about how her life feels like a lie. Says she looks in the mirror and only sees Caleb. Amy says I should block her. I haven't replied either. Because for once, I'm choosing peace. She found him. Took her 2 weeks of digging, asking around shelters and old church friends, before she finally got a name and a rough location. Caleb Foster, former youth pastor turned disgraced ex-preacher, addiction issues, homeless on and off since 2012. Last anyone had seen him was behind a gas station off Route 11 near the state line. That's where Savannah found out he'd died. Overdose? 2 years ago? Fentanyl? Slumped behind a convenience store dumpster with a needle still in his arm? No ID. They buried him in a county grave with a number instead of a name. She called me that night. I didn't answer, but I listened to the voicemail. I found him, she sobbed. He's dead. I never even met him. Why the hell did she lie to me my whole life? Who am I? Ethan, who the hell am I? I sat in the living room, phone in one hand, whiskey in the other, just listening to her break down. Amy walked in halfway through and shook her head. Don't, she said. Don't open that door again. And she was right. But damn if it didn't ache anyway. The messages kept coming. Long, winding texts, 2 a.m. rants, apologies, questions. She wanted to know everything, what I remembered, what I felt, what I knew about Caleb, why I hadn't said something sooner. And honestly, I didn't have answers that would make her feel better. So I stopped replying. Blocked her number, told myself it was for the best. Amy's pregnancy was entering the 3rd trimester. She was exhausted. Jake was growing like a weed. We were prepping the nursery gray walls, little pink stars on the ceiling, books stacked everywhere. It was the family I never thought I'd have. But that didn't stop the guilt from creeping in some nights. Didn't stop the memories. Didn't stop me from wondering what life would have looked like if someone had believed me at 15. A week later, Amy's at work and I get a knock at the door. I open it. Savannah. She looked like she hadn't slept in days, hair messy, bags under her eyes, holding a grocery bag of old photo albums. I didn't know where else to go, she said. I stood there, frozen. I didn't want her inside. I didn't want the energy she carried. But I also couldn't slam the door. 5 minutes, I said. We sat on the porch. She opened one of the albums. It was all childhood pictures, some of me and her, some of just her, some with Dad, and some zoomed in, folded edges of Kendra and Caleb at church events. You were right, she whispered. Even back then, they were always standing too close. His hand was always on her back. She closed the album. She ruined everything. Not just your life, mine too. I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. She looked up at me. I don't have anybody left, Ethan. You had me, I said a long time ago. That was the last time I saw her. She left that night, said she was moving out of state, somewhere far, wanted to start over, said she might change her name. She didn't ask me to stay in touch, just said thank you, got in her car, drove off. I stood on the porch for a long time after that. Jake came out holding a juice box, asked if I was okay. I picked him up, kissed the top of his head, and told him yes. But that was a lie. A month passed, then Dad's trial. I didn't go. My lawyer said, stay out of it. Too risky. They'd try to drag my name into the mess, twist it into motive or vengeance or unresolved trauma. No thanks. I read the verdict online like everyone else. 3 years. Assault, aggravated battery, emotional abuse history, plus the judge not buying Kendra's "he attacked me out of nowhere" narrative. Still, 3 years for breaking someone's spine. Like, honestly. But I didn't feel anything when I read it. No satisfaction, no closure. Just blank. Amy read it over my shoulder. You okay? Yeah, I said. Another lie. Kendra's still in rehab. Turns out she'd been taking pills since before I was kicked out. Her sister told Amy, said she started faking migraines to get prescriptions, then graduated to the harder stuff. Oxy, fentanyl patches, whatever she could find. That's probably why she was always so paranoid, always making up insane shit about me. She wasn't just manipulative, she was high. Explains a lot. Doesn't excuse it. Amy's folks invited us to their lake house for the weekend, said we needed air. We packed up Jake and some snacks and went, sat by the water, let the kid throw rocks, watched ducks, ate burgers. I hadn't felt that peaceful in years. Amy leaned on my shoulder as the sun set. You did it, she whispered. You made it through. I kissed her forehead. We did. Then came the letter. No return address, just my name, written in messy cursive, inside. A crumpled photo of me and Savannah at age 6 and 1. I'm holding her in my lap, laughing. She's reaching for my nose. And a note in shaky handwriting. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I want you to know I see it now. I should have believed you. I failed you. I'm sorry. Dad. No contact info. No ask for help. Just that. Amy read it too, said nothing. We burned it in the fire pit. Let the smoke take it. Sometimes I think about Tom. Wonder if he's still out there, if he's alive, if he ever got off the streets, if he knows what he did for me. One night I looked up shelters in the area we were in back then, called a few. No one remembered him. Said he probably moved on, or didn't. Part of me hopes he's somewhere warm, with food, with someone who sees him. Because he saw me when no one else did. Life goes on. The baby's due in a few weeks. It's a girl. We picked the name Hope. Jake's obsessed with dinosaurs and peanut butter. Amy's nesting like crazy, painting, organizing, folding tiny socks. I've been busy at work. Bought a new project, a rundown motel we're flipping into short-term housing for people getting off the streets. Feels full circle. Feels right. Some nights, I still wake up sweating. Dreams about Kendra, about Dad, about that night with the cops. But then I hear Amy breathing, or Jake snoring through the monitor, or I feel the baby kick when I lay my hand on Amy's belly. And I remember where I am now. Who I am now? I'm not 15 anymore. I'm not invisible. And they can't touch me anymore. ChatGPT said it was a Tuesday morning. Nothing special. Just coffee, toast, Jake watching cartoons way too close to the TV. I was on my laptop reviewing floor plans for the new housing project. Amy was upstairs folding tiny baby clothes. You know, regular life stuff. Then I got the email. Subject line, request for contact, legal matter involving Savannah Cole. I stared at it for a full minute before clicking. Turns out Savannah was trying to get access to her original birth records. Needed my help. Apparently, her Aunt Kendra's sister told her I might have known who Caleb Foster really was, full name, background, anything useful for court. There was a quote from the message she sent to the attorney. My brother, well, half-brother, I think he knows more than he said. I need to know who I am. I closed the email. Didn't answer. Because here's the truth, I didn't know anything more. Not really. What I knew was what I saw. A moment in a park, a whispered phone call, a face that looked too much like a ghost. The rest I pieced together like broken glass, and even if I could hand Savannah some clean, satisfying answer, it wouldn't fix her. Wouldn't patch the giant hole Kendra carved into her sense of self. She needed therapy, not my version of history. Still, that night I sat on the porch, reading that email over and over. Amy brought me a blanket and sat down next to me. You okay? She wants me to help her find herself. Amy didn't say anything for a while, just looked out into the dark. Then you already did. See, that's the thing nobody tells you about revenge. It's never clean. It doesn't come with a final chapter where you ride off into the sunset, slow clap echoing behind you. Most of the time, revenge is just smoke, like burning down a house you don't live in anymore. Satisfying in theory, but mostly just leaves you coughing and covered in soot. The people who hurt me, they ruined themselves. I didn't have to lift a damn finger. And maybe that's what made it hit harder. They built their entire world on lies, and when those lies cracked, everything fell apart. Dad's sitting in a minimum security facility, probably playing checkers and stewing in the realization that his wife never loved him, and his real son wants nothing to do with him. Kendra's stuck in rehab, her looks fading, her name dragged through every small-town gossip group in the state. No one buys her act anymore. And Savannah, she's starting over. No wedding, no fiancé, no mother, no father. Just the truth, raw and unfinished. That's not revenge. That's consequence. A few days later, I got another letter, handwritten. No return address again. This time from Kendra. I read it standing over the trash can. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted you to know. I was scared. Not of you, of losing control, of losing the version of my life I'd created. That's not an excuse, just truth. Savannah hates me now. I deserve that. I know what I did, and I know saying sorry isn't enough, but I am sorry, deeply. I hope your family never has to know pain like I caused. Kendra. I dropped it in the garbage, didn't even fold it. Amy didn't ask what it was. She could see it in my face. We didn't talk about it again. Jake turned 4 the following weekend. We had a small party in the backyard. Dinosaurs and dirt cake. Amy's parents came. A couple close friends, neighbors. It was simple. Joyful. Jake doesn't know anything about what happened. Not yet. One day, maybe, when he's older and ready to hear it. But right now, he just knows his dad works hard, tells bad jokes, and makes pancakes shaped like T-Rexes. That's enough. That's everything. Later that night, after we put Jake to bed and cleaned up the chaos, Amy and I sat in the nursery, folding tiny socks again. She was glowing. Due in just a few weeks, she leaned against me, belly between us. You ever think about what you'll tell her, she asked. Who hope? Yeah, when she asks about your past. I paused. I'll tell her I lived through hell, I said, and came out stronger, that I wasn't born lucky, but I made damn sure I built something real. For her, for Jake, for us. Amy smiled. I think that's enough. And it is. Because I used to think revenge would fix me. That proving I was right would be some kind of magical closure. But the truth. Healing doesn't come from watching someone else fall. It comes from choosing to stand. It comes from holding your kid and knowing they'll never feel the fear you did. It comes from breaking the cycle. Sometimes, at night, when everyone's asleep, I walk through the house just to remind myself this is real, that this life, these walls, these people, this love is mine. I built it. And yeah, maybe the past still rattles its chains every now and then, but it doesn't own me anymore. That 15-year-old kid behind the diner, he didn't disappear. He just grew up into a man who said no, into a father who shows up, into a husband who doesn't run. And that's the best kind of revenge there is.